This is Jack Jackson, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how to use the calculator, TI-84 calculator that is, to examine some things about a finite distribution. So I'm going to start by going to my list editor here by going to Stat, Edit, and let's clear out list 2 and list 1. And we can put in some values maybe of x, our random variable, in list 1, and we could put some probabilities in list 2. I have to be a little careful here because these probabilities must sum to 1. So far, doing this in my head, I have 0.9, so I believe 0.1 will be the last one. Now we can verify this by just summing up list 2. So I'm going to get out of here for a minute, quit, go to list, which is second stat, and go from there and do, if we go over to math, we can go down to number 5, sum list 2, and if I did my arithmetic right, this should sum to 1, and that verifies that that is a legitimate finite distribution. So what we have here when we go to stat edit is these are the x values, these are the probabilities of those x values, so this is a table for the PDF. Now we can do the CDF over here. I'll show you a little trick here. You can go to list. Notice I put my cursor up on the name of the list, list 3. This is going to have the CDF. So I go to operations under list, so that was second stat for list, right arrow to operations, and if you look down on number 6, that's a cumulative sum. So we can do the cumulative sum of the things in list 2, and notice by the way, I have my list 1 in increasing order, and so now this is my cumulative probability. Of course, I've made the numbers easy enough we can check it in our head. So the first one should be the same as this value here. The second one should be the first 2 added together, which it is. The third one should be the first 3 added together, and then the fourth one is all of them added together, which of course the last one has to be 1. And so that shows you how you can get the CDF from that. Okay, now let's compute the mean. Actually, there's a couple ways we can do this. The quickest way to do this, actually, without showing all the work, is to use our built-in commands. So we go to stat, calculate, one variable statistics for list 1, comma list 2. Now normally you would just give it one list here, but if you give it a second list, that second list are the frequencies or relative frequencies of what's in list 1. If they're relative frequencies, that's going to be considering this as a probability distribution, and it will be it will only be able to compute population statistics or a distribution distribution parameters, not statistics. Population statistics. Let me say that again. Population parameters. Statistics are for samples. This will be a population parameter, or in this case, a parameter for the distribution. So notice when I hit this, this tells me my mean. It should be mu instead of x bar, but it's 4.5. And notice the s sub x is not there because it doesn't know how many any kind of sample size. This is not a sample, but it does have the sigma, which is your standard deviation. So we have our standard deviation and the mean. If we want our variance, we can go over here. Notice I just did quit, and we go over to variables, choose number 5, which is statistics, and I can go down and from there find the mean, or I can go down here and find number 5. I can find the standard deviation, which is number 4, and of course I can square that to find the variance, and there's the variance. So a quick, easy way to find a few basic things from a probability density function for a finite distribution. We can check to make sure it's legit by adding up the probability values and making sure they're 1. We can also use the cumulative sum command in our statistics editor to get a cumulative distribution, and we can also use the built-in calculating statistics, one variable statistics, with a frequency, relative frequency, actually here our probability column, and that allows us to compute the mean and standard deviation, and from there of course we can find the variance.